I didn't look at anything, I didn't pull it up because I was just so scared. I didn't Google it. If I don't think about it, it's going to go away. Mm-hmm. And it's not the case. My trainer kept telling me, he's like, this is not going away. He's like, nothing you're doing right now is more important than this. So I pulled it up, and the headline was, former Houston Astros pitcher faces 5 to 99 years in prison. And I go, that's the first time I was like, what?
This is the I Am Redemption podcast, and today I have a very good friend of mine, Mr. Brandon Puffer. Brandon is a author, former major league pitcher. You got a lot of accolades in there. I'm trying to think of them to read them all off, dude. But thank you so much for taking the time to come on today. Brandon and I met a couple months ago. Kind of hit it off right off the bat. We were doing a speaking engagement kind of in Dallas. Met Brandon, realized that there's a lot of similarities about our stories. He's definitely felt a rock bottom and definitely has found his redemption. And today he uses that to help people, which is also my main goal in life. And so it was only fitting that I could get you on the podcast as soon as possible, brother. So thank you for being here today, man.
Absolutely, bro. I'm honored, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourselves? Some of your story.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, I feel like how much time do we have, right?
Yeah.
But just in general, the Cliff Notes, as a young man, I think like a lot of people, I kind of aspired to be a professional athlete and kind of felt like, man, if I could achieve that dream of being a Major League Baseball player, then my life would be complete. Like, that's what I'm here for. And I found out pretty early that I had a God-shaped hole inside of me that I was trying to fill with all kinds of things, including performance and being a good athlete and drugs, alcohol, promiscuity, just trying to what I thought a man was supposed to be.
Right.
And all those things would just chase me and follow me my whole life, man. So as I'm pursuing this dream to be a big leaguer, I had the fortune of achieving that dream. The parallel was just life was always kicking my butt and addictions and all these things that I just couldn't manage on my own, man. So just in general, I think that's kind of the story, and that's what kind of led me to my book, From the Bullpen to the Statement, of just like, hey, you made it, but then this rock bottom because I never really got those, for lack of a better term, those demons under control that were always just tugging at me, man.
Right. So when you were growing up, did you play all sports, or it was just all baseball right off the bat?
No, all sports, man. I loved everything. So we did soccer, basketball, football. Once I got to high school, kind of narrowed it down to basketball, a little bit of football. I quit pretty early on, and then but mostly basketball and baseball.
Mostly basketball and baseball.
Loved basketball. I think we talked about that when we met. I was like, I grew really fast.
Yeah.
So I'm like 6'2" in middle school, throwing down, and I could shoot. I'm like, oh, I'll be in the NBA, man. This is awesome.
Right.
And then I kind of leveled down. I was like, I'm okay at basketball, but baseball is probably my opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was the same way.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I was white and couldn't jump, and I just thought, I was like, oh, dude, I'm play college basketball and stuff like that. And then you start getting around Division I athletes and you're like, oh shit, this is humbling. There's levels to this for sure.
For sure. I actually had a Little League coach approach me about it. Like, he was my Little League coach. Now I'm getting to ninth grade, and I wanted to quit. Well, I did. I quit baseball to focus on basketball my freshman year. And he was like, look, you're a pretty good basketball player. Like, okay. But have you seen what's out there? Are you watching the athletes and the size and the height and the speed and the agility? But they can't, a lot of those guys can't do what you do in baseball, and you got this gift of baseball. So it kind of put in the back of my mind. At that time, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. But then I did remember, and I always share that because I'm like, man, that conversation really affected me. So when I have opportunities to kind of pour in and mentor young men, I think about, man, that conversation at 12 years old resonated with me. I didn't make the change till later, but it was important that a coach poured into my life that way.
Right. So baseball became your number one passion, I'm assuming.
It did.
When did you start to realize you're like, oh shit, like I'm pretty fucking good at this?
Man, honestly, pretty early on. My dad coached a team so I could play because I was too young to play, and I kind of held my own a little bit and enjoyed it. And I would say right around 12 years old, I had that growth spurt and got a little bigger than ever. You see those photos where there's that one kid. Yeah. I was that kid. And so that's when I really started to feel like, okay, got some talent here, but I didn't know how the process worked. So I knew in my mind that I was set on that, and I was a pretty driven guy. So I'm like, I wrote my parents a note. I'm like, I'm going to be in the Major League Baseball. I don't need to do my homework. I'm just focused on this, and which I don't recommend. But it's like, I did have that mindset pretty early on that I was going to do whatever it took to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you pitcher all the way through?
In high school, I hit. I played first base, could hit okay, which most guys did. And then once I got drafted, I was drafted as a pitcher. And it was kind of like, okay, put the bat away and you're going to just focus on the pitching. So, yeah, once I got drafted, it was pitcher only.
Drafted right out of high school?
Yes.
Is that how, in the major leagues, is that how that happens for most guys, or do most guys go on the collegiate ball?
I wouldn't say most. It's a mix. It really is just a mix. For me, coming out of high school was a struggle for me. I just knew if I got the opportunity, I was going to take it. I was going to go for it. I had a good buddy that got drafted the same year at high school that I did, and he chose to go to college route. And we just kind of met up. So it's like people ask me, like, what do you think's best? I was like, I don't know. He got the college experience. He got education, which is awesome. But we met up right at kind of the same level in pro ball as I'm fighting through these lower levels.
Right.
So it's kind of a mixed bag.
All right.
Yeah.
So where draft day? Are you sitting at home with family?
So it's so different back then, man. There's no social media. It's not on television. There was like 50 something rounds, whereas now it's like, I don't know, I want to say 20, 25, and it's televised and all that. So it's just so different. No, I was at school, man. I was in high school, and in California on the West Coast, you just go a little longer. So I was still in school during the June draft. And I literally found out when they announced it over the intercom at school. They said,
no shit.
Yeah, congratulations to your teammate, your classmate, Brandon Puffer drafted by the Minnesota Twins, yada, yada. I was like, oh, cool. So I just had no idea.
Come on, you had to be a little bit more than, oh, cool.
Well, I was excited, man, for sure. But I always talk about this. It's like that peace, that joy, that feeling that we're all searching for. I thought that would be it. I'm like, okay, this is exciting, but that's not it. But okay, once I get there, go get to the big leagues. It's always that next pursuit, right? It's like, oh, that was cool, but now what?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, my family, we were great. We had pictures, the scout came over, we did the signing at the home, and definitely an awesome moment for my family. But then it was like pretty quickly, it was like, okay, that didn't give me what I thought it was going to give me.
Right. Now, is that going back to kind of that God-sized hole in your heart?
100%. Especially looking back, like reflecting back. 100%. That's what it was. It was like, okay, baseball's going to do it for me, man.
Mm-hmm.
But then, it's cool, exciting, but not that that peace and joy. Because then it's like, okay, I'm happy, but then if I don't do well, I'm not happy. If my performance isn't good, I'm not happy. If I'm getting fired, or we call it released in baseball, which I did 4 times, but now what, right? So it just never gave me that true peace that I found later on.
Right.
Yeah.
How long did you spend in the minors before you?
Man, kind of a long time. I think it was about 8 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I got released 3 times. I went to independent ball before I ever made it to the majors. So that was a cool story and perseverance, and just kind of having that mindset of like, no matter what, until I rip this uniform off me and all 30 teams say you're not good enough, I'm just going to keep trying to pursue it.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you say international ball?
Independently.
Independent.
I did do international winter ball quite a few times, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, which was awesome. Great experience. Dude, the best experiences. But independent ball is something that it's kind of like, you're not with an affiliated club, you get let go, and it's kind of like there's one more opportunity if you just want to stick around and hope, right? But you're probably not going to make it after that for the most part if you don't have any prior experience. Right. But I just was like, yeah, whatever I got to do, and I went and did that, and fortunately got picked back up and back into the professional scene.
Right.
Yeah.
So 8 years in the minors.
Yeah.
As far as what was your thing? Alcohol, drugs?
Mostly alcohol and promiscuity. Like when I went out, I was either going to try to hook up or get in a fight with somebody. Just weird. Like just not normal, but as soon as I started going, I had no off switch, and it was like, this night's not over until something crazy happens.
Right.
Not by choice, but it just always ended up that way.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, and I knew that early on, man. The warning signs were there. But yeah, it was, I'm drafted. I'm 18. I graduate high school literally the next day. I'm in Florida from California with a group of kids in the same boat. They've just been drafted. They think they're pretty cool. They think there's something special because they're pro ball players, and we're by ourselves. We're not accountable to anybody other than the team. But it's like, man, we get out at 2:00 and have the whole night. And it's like, now what do we do? And I'm not good with idle time, right?
Yeah, it's for sure.
It's not good for me, man. And so I struggled very, very bad off the field. It's pretty, all my habits just followed me there.
Right. So you had already had these type of habits?
Early on. Yeah. Middle school, high school, it got pretty nutty, like always that guy. Yeah. A little too far, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What is a minor league? Like, I'm not asking what you made. I'm just saying in general, how much do guys in the minors make? Like, are they getting paid well or no?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Literally nothing, Shawn. Like, it's gotten better. they've done some things to try to improve it, but I'll tell you straight up. When I got drafted, we were making $850 a month. Okay, $850 a month. They take out, I think it was $200 for your hotel. They take out for your meals. I had a son at the time, so I had a dependent, excuse me. So they're taking out for that. One time I got fined for being a knucklehead. That's my fault. I'll take that. I'll take the fine. I was a knucklehead. I got a check 2 weeks, $50.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I went to them. I go, guys, how do I live off this? They're like, we just do the bottom line. Like, we just deduct and sorry, And again, I'll take the fine. That was my fault.
Right.
I screwed up. But it's like normal day about
Can I ask you what you did to get fined?
Shocker. I had girls and alcohol in my room when you weren't supposed to. And they came and did a bed check, and the girls were hiding in the shower, and they found the alcohol, and they're like, not in the shower clothed.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, you guys get out of here, and you're fined, and here we go. So, I mean, again, my fault. I knew the rules.
You can't be the only one, though, right?
No. That was so.
It's got to be a common occurrence.
Yeah, that was pretty normal. But at that time, they did like a random bed check and knocked on the door. And it was like, oh, hey.
Right.
And they're like, they're not dumb. Like, what's going on in here, right? Yeah. So
you were aware that did you know you're like, oh, I have a real problem? Or are you kind of under the delusion that you just need to keep doing what you're doing, and that's not something you really have to take care of as far as the alcoholism?
I knew, and because I watched my dad go through it mostly.
Okay.
And he would tell me, and he would advise me, and he would, hey, dude, like you're going down the same path I went down, and it doesn't have to be this way. And everything in me was like, and I would verbalize this. I'd be like, man, you got to have fun till you're in your 30s. I'm just having fun, like I'm out here playing ball, having fun. And he's like, yeah, I get it. And it is fun, right? Like, to be honest, like, that's a fun, but not worth it for me. I mean, everyone doesn't have the same issue I had. I mean, I have a brother who was raised in the same household, and he can socially drink. He's successful. He can have a good time, even catch a little buzz and be good. He knows when to shut it down. My dad's gene, I guess, whatever it is, passed to me. There's zero once I start. Yep. And I know this now. I used to give myself permission, like, oh, well, if you just drink this, or you don't drink that hard liquor, if you don't drive, if you do it this way, I would give myself these justifications or permission, and it just always went south.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, for you can't do it, like, period. So for 15 years now, I hadn't had a sip.
Right.
Because I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
$50 a week?
Bro.
Sometimes.
2 weeks.
Oh, my God.
2 week paycheck. I got it, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do?
Are they providing you your meals and everything?
Yeah. Part of that deduction was your meal at the hotel, which was the same thing every single day. So if you want to go out and catch a little meal on your own, and now some guys had big signing bonuses. I didn't. Mm-hmm. Some guys had families that would, hey, here's, my family didn't have that. So it was just like, figure it out, man. And that's not a woe is me thing. That's just like reality was like, oh man, I got to work hard and get out of here.
Yeah. Build you some character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So 8 years in the minors, and then did you go on you're on just kind of a hot streak, and then you get called up?
Yeah, man. So around 1998, I was drafted in 94. About 4 years in, I'm just a complete mess, right? Doing okay on the field, but just really not taking care of my business off the field at all. And I had a life change, man, in 98. I came home, went to the church where my mom worked, got saved, gave my life to Christ, was like, okay, I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm going to do what Christians are supposed to do. I'm not going to chase girls. And it was just so white knuckled because I wasn't like surrendered or joyful or like, oh, this is awesome. I was just like, okay, now I'm not doing these things.
Right.
And the benefit to that was I was taking care of my body better. So I was working, I really had a good work ethic. So I was doing that, and I was consistent, and my career started really ticking up.
How you're actually sleeping?
I'm actually sleeping. I'm feeling good. I'm on the field. Confidence is such a big deal when you're competing. And when you're out there knowing you stayed up all night and you're hungover and you're facing guys, you can trick your mind, but you're not truly confident. Right. Now I'm like, I'm more prepared than you. I'm taking care of myself. You have no chance. You type deal. So that really took off for me, man. And in 2002, so, several years into that, but a few years after that, I got my chance. I got called up by the Houston Astros. I was playing AAA in New Orleans, and man, I got that call. And it was the same thing like hearing you got drafted. It was like, this is awesome, man. All my teammates congratulate me. I make my phone calls, do my deal, and I'm landing that night. I'm excited as all get out. But again, it was like, hey, this is what you've always dreamed of, man. Like, this is it, right? Your life's complete.
Right.
And happy. I don't want to take away from that. But, maybe once you get there. It's just always that next pursuit, man.
Right.
And once you have success, once you get a contract. And so anyway, it was pretty fleeting, right? That feeling. And then I was like, okay, now it's time to go to work. So I went and joined the big league club and kind of started that journey.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it, so aside from that issue you're having, the God-sized hole, I mean, so walking into the Houston Astros locker room for the first time, I mean, do you, in my mind, I'd go back to being like a kid, like, holy shit, look where I'm at right now.
100%. And I'm a huge fan. Like, I'm not just some
And
guy.
that's like back when Jeff Bagwell was playing.
Yeah.
And everybody.
Bagwell, Biggio, Berkman, Wagner. I mean, yeah, dude, so we were on the road. I met the team in Cincinnati. We were on the road. And I literally walked, I was there before everybody else. And just what you just said, the jerseys were hanging in the lockers. I was like, dude, look at these guys, man. And they weren't there yet.
Right.
And then there's mine. I'm like, I have a locker here. I have a jersey here, man. I'm like a kid in a candy store. Like, you got to fake it. Like, oh, yeah, that's where I belong. This is what I'm supposed to do. But no, I'm like,
you're freaking out.
Oh, I'm freaking out, dude. Yeah, I'm just like, get a hold of yourself. Like, because especially when it came time to actually work, to actually like pitch.
Right.
Now I'm like, you got to get a hold of yourself, man. I started early on. I faced a couple guys like Barry Bonds that I was like starstruck by. I was like,
really?
oh, gosh. And I got to go, no, wait, forget that, man. Get this guy out. You know, it's that deal.
Let's see. What is this? 2002?
Yeah, that was my debut. Yeah.
Is this, which Barry Bonds are we getting?
The Barry Bonds.
Oh, we're getting the
guy,
Barry Bonds?
like in the thick of it. Big Barry Bonds.
Big Barry Bonds.
We're getting creatine Barry Bonds.
Right, there you go.
No, it was when he was in the thick of it, man.
Yeah.
He was.
So the whole league was at that time, right?
Oh yeah, in terms of juicing, yeah.
Yeah.
So I never did. You know, I'm an honest dude. Like I've made a lot of mistakes. I would say, hey man, I cheated, but everyone I was not everyone. A lot of the guys you were facing, it was pretty obvious. And you know what? It didn't bother me that much because it was just like at that time it was so accepted. Honestly, like it was just like, yeah, everyone knows it. Like no one's hiding that. No one. I didn't think of it as the way it is thought of now. And looking back, I'm like, oh man, this guy, that was a kind of unfair playing field. Like I've got video of Sammy Sosa hitting a bomb off me in the thick of that, and I'm like, hey, put an asterisk on that, man. I don't want that back. Like I want to face like bleach skin Sammy now. Like, I'm not on it.
Right.
So it was, yeah, you're definitely in the thick of that thing, and you knew it. I played in Puerto Rico, and every roommate I had was just, it was wide open. It was like, what are you all doing, man? And I, more than anything, was just scared. I didn't understand it.
Right.
I was like, I don't understand that. I don't. And again, with my issues, I'm like, so what? I do this, see some, you know, some positive results out of it. I know me. I'm just going to the next level. Like, what's the next level?
Way, right.
Yeah. So I was too scared.
Right.
I never did it. Yeah.
So so you're walking in as a new pitcher that's been in the farm leagues. Like, what's it like in a major league locker room? Like, how are they with you? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man, most of them are pretty cool. They're excited to see you. And then I think the fact that you had a little journey behind you, and they kind of, I don't know if they all know the story, but they kind of know you've paid your dues a little bit in the minor leagues. I think there's a respect factor there.
So you're not coming in as like they don't look at you as like a kid coming in.
Right. I think that's the difference, right? You got that kid that signed for a big signing bonus. He's 21, walks in there. I think there's a little bit of like, oh, who's this guy? You know, me, it's more like, yeah, journeyman, kind of a cool story. That for that independent league I mentioned, I was the first guy to go there and then get out of there and make it to the big leagues with no prior experience.
No shit.
Okay, that's cool. But at the same time, you have to carry yourself in a way that, and I don't know that's this way as much anymore. But I guess I was a little old school, like be seen and not heard, be respectful. Like just, I think I didn't want, you know, if you walk in, you're like, oh, what's up, guys? And you start, then I think it's different. Which is another thing I look back on and I go, man, I don't know if I handled myself great. I was respectful, quiet, did what I thought rookies were supposed to do, but I didn't allow myself to be myself either. Like kind of, you know, befriend guys and be humorous and just do these things that I like to do. Like I think a more mature me would have like kind of fit in a little better, made more of an attempt. Yeah. Rather than just like, okay, I'm a rookie, I'm going to stay in my place, you know?
What, so how long you had bounced around once you got called up, you bounced around, right?
Once I got called up, I was with Houston 02, Houston 03, and then, yeah, bounced around again, Padres, Red Sox, Giants. I think overall like 12 organizations. But the only ones I got time in the big leagues with were Houston, San Diego, San Francisco, and Boston.
What's that like getting shuffled around like that? Like you can't really set up roots anywhere, right?
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So my family, you know, they'd set roots in Austin, and then I'm just kind of all over the place. And it's crazy because how fast it happens, right? And it's a good thing when you're in New Orleans. They're like, you're going to Cincinnati, your flight leaves at 8 a.m, it's 11 p.m. You're just pumped, man. You're just, how fast can I get there? But when it goes the other way, like, hey, we're letting you go, or you're getting sent back down, but whatever the transaction is, it's immediate. It's like you just finished the game, it's 11 p.m. and your flight leaves at 6. Right. You've got an apartment here. you've got your stuff here, and you're just like, yeah, that part of it's wild. Like when I think back on it, it's just what you just do it. Like it's like whatever, this is how it works. But thinking back on it, like man, and I'm like a guy, I need like stability, I need routine.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a little off, and so thinking back that I used to have to just be like, all right, pack up, let's go, we're gone.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Dude, it's funny that you're on today. It was either this morning or yesterday morning. I saw a clip, and I had totally forgot this, but it was when Randy Johnson was playing for the Diamondbacks and got traded mid-game to who they were playing, which was the Giants.
Moving that over.
And then everybody like came out to the mound, and he's still in his Diamondbacks uniform, but put on a San Francisco hat.
Dude, you know what that was?
What?
So that was different. That was a bench clearing brawl.
Okay.
And he picked up the wrong hat and put on a Giants.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think he got traded mid-game in that one. I could be wrong, but I saw that.
Whatever I read said that he had gotten traded the time Randy Johnson got traded mid-game or something.
I think they were being sarcastic. Because they get in this brawl and everybody's all kind of getting their stuff together, and he like grabs the wrong hat and puts a Giants hat on. Right. But I mean, maybe that happens, dude. That absolutely happens. I've done that.
No shit.
Yeah, in AAA, I was released from the Round Rock Express right here where I live, picked up at the Oakland Athletics. They said, hey, Sacramento, the AAA team's going to be there in 2 days. I just switched locker rooms. Literally went across the hall. Yeah, went across the hall, and now I'm like, all right, here we go. And the guys are like, I mean, it's cool. It was fun, but it happens. That definitely happens.
So what's the banter like with the team you just left, and then now you're going out on the field? Are you guys talking shit?
Oh, yeah. It's all fun stuff.
Right.
Yeah. When you play long enough, there's always guys on the other team you respect and like, and former teammates. And, when you get in between the lines, obviously, it's like, dude, you're not my friend. Like, I'm trying to get you out, period. But like before that, yeah, it's all good stuff. Yeah.
For whatever reason, especially like with football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I watch an NFL game and you see them, basically trying to kill each other with inside the rules during the game, and they're all homeboys afterwards,
totally.
And changing jerseys and stuff like that. And I love now the day and times we're in where there's shows now where you can see like behind the scenes stuff and hear more from players, are more accessible and shit like that. I've always just been fascinated.
Me too, man. I love documentaries. I love the backstories. I love how they grew up. I love the friendships within. I'm the same way. I love watching all that.
Right.
Yeah.
What did I don't want to keep talking about the steroid thing, but like, were you still in the league when Canseco came out with his book?
Juiced?
Yeah.
Was I still in the league? I read it. I just don't remember.
He was still in the league back then, right?
Who was?
Canseco, was he still in the league?
Yeah, he was around when I played. I just don't remember exactly the timeline on when his book came out and all that.
Right.
I remember reading it, but I read it post-career. I remember reading it after the fact.
I read it in prison.
I did too. I should have said that. I did too. Yeah, that's why I was like, I know I wasn't playing at the time because I remember where I read it.
Right.
But yes, that's exactly where I read it too. And I was just like, this goof, man. Like, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But you're just like, come on, man. Like,
right.
You don't have to throw everybody under the bus.
Right.
Like, do your thing, own your stuff. But, there's that brotherhood. There's that baseball thing that is in every sport and like, you didn't have to do that and be a tell-all like that. Right. That was just my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in the major leagues. When does your alcoholism, infidelity, like when does that start getting a hold of you?
So
to the point where,
So from 1998 to 2003, not a sip of alcohol, 5 years sobriety.
Okay, back when you had rediscovered God.
Exactly. Which led to, not infidelity, not chasing, not just going home, doing the right thing. Going back to the hotel. It was hard. I mean, it was never easy for me. It still isn't. Honestly, I'm 15 years sober now, and it's like every day, in my opinion, is a battle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every day at the end of the day, it feels like you went 12 rounds of Tyson in your head. It's the only way I can explain it to people. I feel like you can relate. And it's like, but I was sober. I was taking care of it. I wasn't doing. So 2004, I was in spring training with San Diego Padres in Peoria, Arizona. I had a very toxic first marriage, man. It was just toxic. We got together for the wrong reasons, tried to stick it out for the wrong reasons, and it just boiled over in 2004, and we decided to separate. And so now here I am, man. I'm in pro ball. I always in the back of my mind had this like, kind of wish I didn't stop drinking before I got this opportunity,
right.
like because that was kind of the dream, like growing up, like, oh, now you're in the big leagues, you have all this stuff, and so I was like, you know what, sitting there in spring training, 5 years sober, not accountable to anybody at home. And that voice started playing on me, man, that, you know what, you can do this. Like, you were 5 years young. You're more mature now. You got this.
Yeah.
You got this. So what I did was, I'll never forget it. There were some people in the jacuzzi at the hotel having a few beers. I was like, man, that just looks good right now. I'm stressed out. Went to the gas station, grabbed a 6-pack, I think, drank in the jacuzzi. Nothing happened. That was the worst thing that could happen. I'm like, yeah, you do got this. Yeah, you're all right. Next day, I'm like, all the guys always invite me down to the sports bar. I'm going to hang out with the guys tonight. Back in the game, you know? Yeah. Oh, man, that slippery slope happened quickly after that. I was shocked at how fast I went back to just all out.
That night?
Every night. That night, but every night leading forward. So from 04, spring training with the Padres, through the rest of my career, that was the battle again. That was a battle again. So, and in 04 to 06, I didn't care. I didn't want to stop. I was upset. I was angry. I was mad about, my separation, my relationship. The only way I knew when I was hurting is I just would hurt other people. Like I would just go out and like, okay, well, I'll just go out and party and I'll just go out and hook up with people. I'll just do this stuff thinking I'm hurting you when I'm really just hurting myself and everybody else around me. But yeah, no, I was all out, man, for that period of time. And how I showed you my trajectory when I got sober. Yeah. Same thing. From 04 on, here we go. Little big league time, back to AAA, just all the way to where next to nothing. I finished up as a player coach in AA. By that time, this is 07, 08, we had reconciled, tried to make it work. So I'm trying really hard to be a family guy again and just going, okay, gotta get back in the groove. But I had let so much back in, I wasn't ready to just let me go. You know, it was just a battle, right? Full out battle.
And looking back, were you doing that, trying to get back in with the family and stuff like that? Were you just trying to get your life back to like homeostasis so you could continue playing ball?
I think not only to continue playing ball, but to get a sense of like, control's not the right word, but I had kiddos, man. And I'm out here just not being the dad I want to be. And so I kind of felt like I got to get that unit back together, which actually was the worst thing for me, like for my whole family. Like there was a lot going on there that was not healthy, on both sides. Yeah. And, I certainly was to blame for a lot of it, but there were some things that were going on that were not healthy, especially for my son. And, I needed to rescue him and get him out of there. But what I did was, to your point, like, okay, yeah, I just gotta, and the first time we did it, I had a lot of wisdom, wise people give me advice of like, this isn't right. You're not ready, on both sides. Yeah. And I just did it again. I was like, no, we're going to make it work this time. And my family would tell you now, they're like, oh, you're doing what? You're going back to what? Right. And so, yeah, I tried it, man. And it was the same.
Dude, I think people would need to think we're talking about an individual that at a very young age said, I'm going to be a Major League Baseball player, and then becomes a Major League Baseball player. So in your mind, you got to be like, I can do anything. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this work. Right. Right. And then, the world and God have a way of humbling you and making you realize you're not not as good as you thought.
I always tell people, like, there's two types of people, man. Humble. Yeah. And those are about to be humbled. Right. And I needed to be humbled. Still, I mean, it's a lifetime thing, but you're right. The mindset is, and I know you have this mindset because I've watched your stuff, is I'm invincible. Right. 10 feet tall, I'm invincible. You can't beat me. And that is a mindset you need on the field, between those lines. Then when you step off outside of those lines, I had a hard time turning that off. Yeah. You can do it. And I think that's where a lot of not just athletes, but achievers get in a lot of trouble. It's like that mindset leads to, there's no consequences for me. It won't happen to me, type mindset. And it's just not the case. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So you finally get fired?
No. So my career ended the day I got arrested.
Okay, so you're still
playing. Actually, the coolest thing, man, probably one of the coolest parts of my career over all the making it to the big leagues and all that is in 2007, the Texas Rangers offered me a role to be close to home, close to my family. They knew I was going through some stuff. And they said, hey, we've got a role for you. Ever seen Bull Durham, baseball movie?
With
Kevin Costner? Yeah. Well, the character in there is Crash Davis. Okay. And he basically gets a little bit of big league time, and he goes back as like a player coach to the young guys. Right. And they're all just like, what's it like? And, so I was that guy. They're like, man, we want you to go back and be a mentor to these young prospects. And, because my life was messy, but I still I tried to lead, be a leader and mentor guys like that. So they saw that quality and they said, hey, I think it'd be a good role for you. I loved it. I went and did it in 2007, 30-something years old in AA. They're all 19, 20. But it was awesome, man. I'm like just being a part of that. And they invited me back in 08 to do the same thing. And it was basically like the writing's on the wall. Your career as a big leaguer is probably over, but you can still pitch and you can still mentor, and then we'll work you into a coach. So in my mind, I'm like, this is great. I'm going to be a lifetime baseball guy. I'll go coach and work my way back to the big leagues as a bullpen coach. And this is just kind of like setting up the stage. And then fast forward to towards the end of that season, I had fought all year these young bucks wanting me to go out and have fun with them. They're just like, they're young. They're where I was at that time.
Right.
Puff, we heard you were fun, man. Let's go out.
And you're supposed to be the mentor.
I'm the mentor. I'm the chapel leader of the team. All
Jesus.
these things, man. And here's the deal, though. As I'm telling them no, and as I'm saying I don't do that, and I'm not going out, and that's not good for me, I'm doing it on the side. I'm living a double life. I'm faking the funk. Like, they're like, oh, you got your life together, you're a family guy. And I'm like, if you guys only knew, like, I'm just saying no, not going with you, but I'm going out here by myself and just living this dark double life.
Right.
So it was certainly, but anyway, long story short, man, towards the end, I love these kids, man. We bonded. It was awesome. We clinched a championship. I'm driving in on a Friday to the ballpark, and something in me was just like, man, just go out. What's one night, man? Just go out with these guys. They've been great. We'll go have fun one night. And Shawn, I don't know why, man, but something in me was just like, don't do it. Like, and basically the small still way for me, I think it was like Holy Spirit just going, don't do it. Bad idea. Right. And then the follow-up to that was, in fact, go get help, man. Like, go get with the coaches and be like, look, I'm struggling. I'm not doing what you think I'm doing. I don't have it together, man. I'm really struggling. And in my I guess character defect was, that's selfish. You're the leader of this team. We're in a championship series. Like, you're not gonna put this on a little spotlight. Like, suck it up, man.
Right.
You got one more week. Just suck it up. So okay. Sure enough, man, I went out with the guys that night. This is my 15th season in pro ball. I am a routine guy. We'd done this so many times. And I was like, yeah, all right, what's one night? And I woke up the next day in jail, man.
So when you went out with them as their mentor, you ended up getting locked up.
I'm locked up. And you know what, man? I think they even knew. Like, halfway through that night, a couple of guys were like, whoa, Puff, like, dude, you're a whole nother guy, right? Like, I think they got it. Like, okay, that's not really healthy. Like, that's not just having fun. You're another level. And I pitched on Adderall, so I was my motor was just going full speed and drinking and on Adderall, and the whole deal was like, man, it was all set up for me. And so actually what happened was a coach and a clubhouse manager saw me out. Like, hey, man, you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to float the guys, And they're like, we're not driving, right? I said, I shouldn't. And they said, well, come with us. Like, let's go back. Come to our apartment. We'll take care of you type deal. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't turn it off, man. I just kept going, oh, no, I got a party. I got to keep calling. I got to go find something to do, And so do you want to go in detail what actually happened?
If you're comfortable.
I am. So we're in an apartment. I had stayed there with my family the season before, okay? And there was a young lady. We'd babysit her little daughter. Just cool people, man. Single mom. And she always had parties, always had people over. And this is, by the way, a lot of introspection, a lot of like looking back on, what was I thinking,
Right.
I kept telling the guys, I'm like, hey, I got a friend that lives in here. I have a friend from last year. I'm going to go see if she's having a party. And they're like, dude, it's 2:30 and whatever it was. No one's having a party. Go to bed.
Right.
And eventually, when you give them enough of like, I'm a grown man, you can't tell me what to do. They're like, all right, man, do your thing.
Yeah.
And I walked over there, man. I don't even know how I found it. And I walked over there and I knocked on the door and no answer. 3 a.m. Door handle, it's unlocked. Walked right in, man. Walked right in. I had an attorney when I went through all this stuff going, why wasn't the door locked? I'm like, that's nobody's fault. Why'd I walk in, right? But like in retrospect, that minor detail, door's locked, you just walk away.
Right.
Walk right in, man. Try to get in bed with her. Like,
oh, shit.
Yeah. So it was just like, what were you thinking? All the times of
So she just sees this big motherfucker coming up.
Oh, yeah. 3 a.m, dude. Like, so she screams.
Yeah.
Which is the most horrific part of this whole thing, was what I caused for her. To this day, when I tell the story, it's like, I can deal with all the stuff I did. My decision, it's embarrassing. It's brutal. But I'm trying to use it for good. But the fact that, I interrupted her safety like that really still shakes me, man, to be honest with you. But when that happened, I kind of came to, was like, what are you doing? But something in my mind, Shawn, I'm going to go back to like the way I was living, the 10-foot tall, bulletproof, the promiscuous, all that stuff. Something in my mind was like, oh yeah, sure, she's got to want to like hook up with me. Like, yeah, like I'm going to walk in here. What? And like looking back, it's like, how could you get to a point where
like she's just going to see you dead asleep at 3 a.m. Like, come on, get in.
Right.
Damn.
That was the thought. And so what happened was my charge was burglary of habitation with intent to commit sexual assault. And that sucks, man, because burglary of habitation, you walk in uninvited. Sorry, man, it is what it is. Like in my mind before, I hadn't been in trouble. I think like beating down a door and you're breaking in. No, you walked in, you're not invited in there. Burglary of habitation. And then the intent part was what really shook me up, man, because I was like, my intent was not good. No man should be in that place at that time. But assault, like, I didn't plan on like assault, you know what I mean? Like, I just had a hard time with that word. But at the end of the day, I put myself in that position, and that's what it was. And unless you could show why you were there and all that stuff, then those are the charges, and they're gonna stick. And so that was rough, man. Those are
She wanted to pursue the charges.
So at first, no, but the DA did. No, I shouldn't say no. I shouldn't say no. Yes, I think so. And in fact, I was like, wait, I know this person. Like, this isn't, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that, but like, this is the next day. Because when I got picked up, I said to the guy, I go, what happened? Like, he goes, you called me last night, and I thought you were kidding. Fortunately, I came to check, and I had the paperwork, and I saw and I was like, can you go over there? And like, I need to talk. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I just need to make this right. Like, I'm not a bad person. Like, I didn't mean to hurt anybody. Like, let's just go. We'll talk. Dude, I don't share this a whole lot, man. I remember her daughter's name because it was my daughter's name, Morgan. And when we would babysit them the summer before, like she didn't have interaction with her dad, I guess. And I would be like playing with my girls and all that. And she'd be like, she literally told me one time, dude, she's like, Mr. Puffer, I wish I had a daddy like you. Oh, and I'm just like, oh. And then a year later, I walk in and like destroy their safe. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that's not me. Right. So like everything in me was like, I'll go make this right. Like, let's go over there. I got to apologize. And he's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I'm like, okay. I just didn't realize how serious it was. And I know that sounds crazy because it's so serious.
No, yeah.
But it's like, oh no, this was a misunderstanding. And it was like, no. So go back. Next day we have a game. I don't tell a soul. I pitch in the game. I do my thing. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be home in a couple of days. I'm just gonna put this under the rug type deal. And that's what I do or intend to do. And I get home, and about a week later, I get a call from our media relations guy, for the team. He's like, hey, Puck, how's the off season? He's like, hey man, did you get a little trouble down here towards the end? I said, oh yeah. How'd you know that? He goes, well, I got a call from a media source asking about it. And if they called me, they're gonna run a story. Here we go, man. Like, what's done in the dark is seen in the light, right? This stuff's going to catch up with you, and here it is. And so I text my family and said, hey, I'm sorry. I love you guys. I made a really poor choice, and it sounds like it's going to be publicized, and it was. And so 9 months I was out on bail, kind of waiting on my fate. For that 9 months, I was back to, I'll be a good boy. I'm not drinking. I'm not going out. Please don't let me go to prison, God, please. And I ended up going to a jury trial 9 months later. And what a surreal feeling, man. 3 days of just being in there. I mean, I'll never forget like the state of Texas versus Brandon Puffer. I'm like, and my dad was with me. My ex-wife actually came to support me, which was nice. And went through that trial, man. I had character witnesses. I'd never been in trouble. Nolan Ryan came and spoke on my behalf.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I listened to a DA grill Nolan Ryan. My attorney told me, they all know each other. He's like, dude, she said she was so nervous because she's such a big fan of his. And then I was like, this is crazy. This guy, all he did, he's got to come in here on my behalf for this stupid decision I made, right? But he did, and I was so grateful. And man, so one thing I'll say, Shawn, is I didn't look at anything, like I didn't pull it up because I was just so scared. I didn't Google it. And one day I did. I was like, nah, I just got to see like what's going on. And I Googled it. It's almost like if I don't think about it, it's going to go away. And it's not my attorney kept telling me, he's like, this is not going away. You got to know how serious this is, right? Because he'd be like, we need a meeting. I'm like, oh, I got work. He's like, nothing you're doing right now is more important than this. And I just didn't click to me. I'm like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. So I pulled it up, and the headline was, former Houston Astros pitcher faces 5 to 99 years in prison. And I go, that's the first time I was like, what? Like one bad night, what?
Right.
And so I was like, man, you got to take this a lot more serious. This is serious. And I went to that jury trial and ended up getting 5 years in prison. That was my sentence. I would learn later. This is kind of ironic because you always wonder, like, what's going on? Like, how do they view you? What are these 12 peers thinking? Like, what do they think, And I had one of the jurors write me when I was in county jail. I went from that sentencing straight to county jail to wait on my time to go to prison.
Right.
And she wrote me, and she was like, told me the whole scoop, man. She's like, I apologize. I don't think you should be in prison. It made me feel good. At least she thought that. But she's like, there was a couple people in there that were really wanting to put it to you, like 25 years type stuff. I'm like, what? Right. And she goes, and I was adamant, no jail time. I just didn't think he belonged there. But at the end of the day, they were going to hang the jury unless we gave you something. So I said, all right, I'll agree to the minimum. It's like, wow, I can't thank you enough for writing me and telling me all this. It's amazing to get that insight, but scary of like, oh my gosh, it could have went way worse, right? So just perspective of, yeah, this stinks, man, and I'm gonna have a 5-year prison sentence, but things could have been worse, so we need to just figure it out, go from here.
Right. 5 to 99, reading that with your name on the front page of the paper, that has to be mind-boggling.
It was absolutely mind-boggling, man. I don't know why I had no clue. I don't know the legal system. I just didn't. I was just clueless, man. And I saw it, and I was just like, holy crap. And that's where the attorney was saying, hey, you've got to just plead guilty if you don't have a reason for being in there. I'm like, guilty to intent for... He's like, well, if you don't, and it's like you're not owning it, and they could give you whatever. And I said, well, you're right. I want to own this. So I just pled guilty to it, man.
Right.
And took what I took, yeah.
That's what happened with my last charge.
Yeah.
We got pulled over. I didn't have any drugs on me or anything like that. The guy I was with had a bunch of stuff on him, but it wasn't mine.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting out and running when they pulled us over.
Mm-hmm.
So he runs, and I just remember sitting there. I'm like, oh, I'm good. For the first time, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm good to go. And then they ended up giving us the same charge. And so I'm sitting there like talking with my lawyer, like, we got to fight this. We got to fight this. And he's like, yeah, like with your previous record, there's no judge or anybody that's going to believe that you weren't involved in that. And so that's where I had to like rationalize in my mind. It's like, I've gotten away with so much bullshit as far as drugs and on the streets and stuff like that, that I whether I did this actually or not, I might as well just take what's coming to me.
I had the same thought, Shawn. Honestly, the same thought. Like, I didn't think it was going to be that extent, but I just thought back to like all the ways in which I was wrong, and all the ways in which I was out of line, in terms of like, just like sexually and just all these things. I'm like, you know what? You just got what's coming to you after all this time. And a lot of people, and the story is one bad night, one bad choice. And that's very true. I mean, I could have easily just walked away from that. But at the end of the day, it's more than that. It's like your patterns, your lifestyle, your unhealed traumas, man. I was sexually abused as a child, and I didn't want to deal with that, man. I was like, that has nothing to do with it. That didn't affect me. That's just back there. But then you look how that shows up in your life if you don't heal that. And you're like, man, I heard you on your last podcast say like, the term I like to use is, and I didn't get it. I got it from Ed Milet, not me, but is like you're best equipped to help those who are going through what you've been through. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I got to talk about all that. I know there's people going, hey, me too, man. That happened to me. I've never dealt with it. Well, here's how it played out in my life. You know, just going around and trying to just hurt others the whole time and not thinking you were, but you are. You know, and so, yeah, man, it was a surreal deal. And then I had all this time on my hands now to be introspective and really take a deep dive into not just, okay, you shouldn't drink. Well, yeah, obviously, but what else led to all this, right? So you start peeling back those layers.
Dude, that's not many. I don't want to say that's a general statement, but it sounds like once you got into prison, you actually utilized that time to actually reflect and start making some changes. When I went to prison, I was amazed with how many people inside there were glorifying the lifestyle that had got them there and just only dug themselves deeper into it. Yeah. And I just remember looking around, I was like, oh, I fucking hate it here. Yeah. I'll do anything to not come back here again.
Exactly.
In all honesty, I probably didn't dig as deep as what you did because I got out and just got in trouble again. Mm-hmm. But I just remember, for whatever reason, like growing up and being in the lifestyle I almost romanticized about prison. It's like, sure, I could fucking do time. Like, I'm good. And then I just remember the first time getting in there and was like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Right.
Get me out of here.
It's no badge of honor.
No,
this is
not at all.
Absolutely.
Not at all.
I did the same thing. It was like, oh, wow, I got the story now. It's like, dude, you can have that. Everyone wants to own everything. And it's like, you can have this place. Like, I'm not fighting with a T. I'm not fighting. You can have it all. I want out of here. Like, I want to see my family. I want to hug my kids. I want to. And so when that was my why, man. Like when stuff came up and could have been trouble involved or whatever, it was just like, no, I'm every day is just to better myself and to get home to my kids. That's it, period. And if you can't understand that, then we can't. I mean, there were guys that did, and I was able to have a positive influence, fortunately, because like, as you know, there are guys that are like, man, I made a mistake, but I don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. And then to your point, there's the ones that like, that's their life. That's it, man. We want to run everything in here. And I'm like, you run it. You have it all.
Yeah. Have fun with all that.
Have fun with it, man. I'm trying to get out of here.
Right, for sure. So you do your time and you get out, and then what does life start to look like once you get out?
Man, humbling, slow start, but amazing, freaking amazing. The title of your podcast, the redemption stuff, is exactly what starts to happen. Pretty, I wouldn't say quickly, but it was, I got out, my parents picked me up. I had a red onion sack. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
Yeah.
That's just what they give you to go out. Had a Bible, some hygiene, and that's it, man. I started over from scratch.
Right.
Zero. Had nothing I had made in my career. I had spent it on trying to stay out of prison or my obligations when I was in there. So I'm just like, okay, fresh start. Here we go. Here we go, God. This is where it got me. This is the day I've been waiting for. And I just spent a lot of time with family. And then I had a really good friend. Well, actually, Nolan's son, Reed Ryan, is the president of the team in Round Rock. And he said, what do you need? Like, when you get out, look me up. What do you need? And I said, well, right now, part of my parole plan is I need a job. And so I went to the stadium, met with them, and I always laugh at this because it was just like, all the shame and guilt behind what I did, and just being in prison thinking no one's ever going to want to be, no one's ever going to be with me, or no one's ever going to like respect me again, or how are you going to build? How do you go from here? Like, just all that shame and guilt I carry.
Right.
And then baseball is such a big part of my life. It's like, is baseball ever going to be? Probably not. I don't deserve that. Baseball, you screwed that up. You're not getting back in baseball. In my mind, that was the enemy working on me. And the first job I get is a maintenance guy at the stadium, the AAA stadium in Round Rock. I can't fix anything. I can't do nothing, dude. They're like, all we have is one role. It's this. But you'll have a supervisor. He knows what he's doing. And I said, okay. And so just humbly, like, whatever you need me to do. Pressure wash. If you've ever been a stadium in Round Rock, AAA, I've pressure washed literally every inch of that concrete.
Oh, shit.
From the bowl to around it. Anything that's green, I painted it. Any wood that is stained, I stained it. Because it was just the mundane job.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to do this. Because if you think something really need to be done, like fixed or built, it was like, that's not you. But you can go do this. And so I'd get my headphones in, man. I'd be happy as could be. I would just almost like laugh, like, God, this is just funny, man. I'm in a baseball stadium. Like, this is so cool. And even when the season started, the guys were in there. And I thought I would have been like, oh, man, I used to be out there. But I was like, no, I'm around it, man. This is really cool. And I think the biggest thing was like, and what I try to encourage people to like, how do you build after something like that? And this, you've been through it. It's like, own your stuff and be humble. Don't, I'm too good for that job, or no. It's like, no, man, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm gonna do my very best.
Right.
And that led to getting a promotion there, which was baseball outreach coordinator. So I was over some camps and some stuff. And again, it's like, for me, man, I can't share my story without faith. It's like, it was just all God going.
Yeah.
Like with my background, it's like, you shouldn't be the baseball outreach coordinator for one of the biggest baseball names in the country. But they showed faith in me, man. And it was like, every time someone showed a little faith in me, it boosted me. It was like, oh man, okay, there is still something for me out here, right?
Right.
And then,
Dude, you're right. What you're saying right now is my life story, basically, since getting sober. It's like somebody believing in you, and you get an opportunity, and putting a belief in something bigger than yourself.
Yes, man.
And then just putting good energy out and like trying to help people. It comes back to you tenfold. Like if that wasn't true, we wouldn't be sitting here today.
I was just gonna say that when I met is it RJ?
Yeah.
JR. Dang, I'm dyslexic. I met JR, and he was telling me like, yeah, I met Shawn, and I looked out at I'm like, same thing for you, man. I'm like, you just humbly walk it out, and you just keep getting exalted and raised up, and you're giving back, and you're humble, and it's like, so that was the exact same thing, man. And so honestly, I started some teams in that role. It was going well, and I loved it. I mean, Round Rock Express is named after Ness Nolan's nickname, the Express. And that's the biggest baseball name in the world. And I'm calling people going, hey, we're doing these teams. I'm calling from the office of Nolan Ryan. And I mean, it's a slam dunk. Like, I could just ride those coattails forever and be totally good. But there was just something still inside of it. I was like, okay, that's their legacy, and it's amazing, and I respect it. But what if I'm supposed to have my legacy? Like, what if so me and a buddy who was working with me at the time took a leap of faith and walked away from that and started our own organization. And then that was from one team to 2 to 3 to like 30 something now, and all these coaches and all this opportunity to mentor and help people. And it all really started, Shawn, with one time, and I don't remember who it was. I wish I could remember, that someone said, hey, these people are looking for pitching lessons, for like one-on-one instruction. Are you open to that? And I mean, everything in me was like, not me. Why would you want? Do they know what I did? Like, and it was just like, I hate dealing with that, man. And I do, and I did. And I did it, and it went well, and they wanted to do more. And that led to a couple more private. And then I'm like, again, the faith, like, thank you for believing in me. I'm going to give you everything I have. And it just built. And so the redemption part of it, man, I mean, through my kids, you've met my new wife, like the stuff that I didn't think I deserved, that God was like, I still have for you, but you got to walk this out, and you got to make some changes. And, it's not like just, here you go, but blows my mind. dude. Like I can't even, we could talk all day about the redemption part.
Yeah.
And you've seen a little bit of it, but there's just been so many things that are just like, oh, you blow my mind, man. Like I don't even belong here. Why?
Right.
I don't deserve this. And I think that's where he's like, yeah, I know. That's why, as long as you know it's not you, we're going to keep going, you know?
Yeah.
So
Dude,
it's amazing.
Everything you're saying is perfectly aligned with everything that's happened for me with, you know what I mean? Just the blessings in my life that have come these past couple of years. It's just like, you know, I talk about it all the time, but there's part of it where it's like imposter syndrome.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
all the time.
I don't deserve this. Why do they have me here? Or like any moment now they're going to realize who I am or something like that. But, you know what I mean? Just staying the course and the consistency and everything like that. And I've had I try to explain it to people and I'm like, all I did was just get my shit together and start running and trying to help people. And organically, so time after time after time, just good things continue to happen in my life. And it's like, I don't know how to explain it. All I do is just do me and try to do the next right thing, and good shit happens.
Yeah, it's like if you're trying to be useful, good stuff happens. And you know what, selfishly, dude, I think you're going to relate to this. When I do good stuff for people, or when it's like I get something out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that's the only reason I do it, but selfishly, I'm like, people are like, oh, thanks for doing that for that kid or whatever. I'm like, dude, that helps me. That builds me up too, right?
100%.
And I just told my wife yesterday, I said, so, you know, I definitely still deal with anxiety and depression and mental health issues. And I've told you before, I'm a big Jake Laser fan and the Unbreakable stuff, which your last guest was like, oh, Unbreakable. I was like, Jake Laser would love that. Right. And he talks about being in the gray. So I'll wake up sometimes, I'm in the gray. Dude, it's a bad day and I don't know why. I mean, my wife's like, you in the gray? I'm like, yeah. Is there a reason? No, babe. Sorry. I don't know. Sorry. And then she's cool. I mean, she knows. But then some days it's good. And some days, I told her this yesterday. This is going to be kind of weird. I said, I feel too good. I'm like, I'm in the blue, but I'm too far in the blue. Things are too good. What's going to happen? Like, got you. I've got this. This is happening. I'm going to do this. And I'm feeling great.
Other shoe's going to drop any minute now.
And I'm like, oh, you can't think like that. Just enjoy the blessings while they come and keep walking them. And then we've had some tough times too, man. We've had to go through some stuff where all of a sudden it is serious. I'm in the gray and it's for a reason. It's like, I have my background and people like to throw that around and use it against me. And I'm like, why? I did my time. I'm doing good things. Why would you do this to me? But it happens. And that's how people are. And so you just have to deal with it, you know?
Yeah. Do people still do that to you?
They do, man.
Really?
Yeah, they do. Yvette and I just moved into a new neighborhood. Awesome neighborhood, man. We love it. We got a little view. We're just like, oh, we're so blessed, man. And we go to the pool, we meet neighbors, and I always walk out my door, and this is sad to say, man, but it's true, and immediately think someone who's judging me, who knows. So I don't know if you know this, I have to register because of what happened to me. And that carries some big weight, man.
Yeah.
And that, we can get into that system. That's messed up, but you're just bulked into like everyone's in one system.
Yeah.
So as soon as you see that, it's like, ugh, and we had a neighbor going around and telling everybody like, hey, this guy used to play baseball, but he did this. And watch out. And fortunately, somebody who really got to know us and cared to know the people and not just what that they was like, hey, I just want you to know this is going on. And it hurt me so bad, dude. Like, not even anger. Like, that's mad. She wants to go over there and knock on the door and be like, what's up? And I'm like, I was just so hurt, man. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, and so actually we made a Facebook post on our neighborhood post and with our pictures and, hey, we're respectful. We get that's a big deal. I have kids. I have a grandson. I understand. Like, you want to know who's living near you, and you have a right to know that. I believe that. A lot of people are like, it's none of their business. I'm like, no, I don't look at it that way, man. Like, I have kids. I have a grandson. And if I see something of that, I would want to know, like, hey, what's going on here, you know?
Yeah.
That's just good parenting, in my opinion. But the fact that you would go behind my back and try to, like, it just really hurt, man. I was like, I'm a good dude, man. If you got to know me, I think you would agree, you know.
Dude, one conversation with you, and you know what I mean. Like, I think it would be easy for.
So that's what we said in the post. We're like, hey, we'll leave you alone. We'll respect you. We're not out to. But at the end of the day, here's who we are, and we're open, and I'm happy to talk about it. And she shared a couple of links to podcasts and stuff, and we got so much cool. I was crying. Like, Yvette would read them back to me about, hey, we've met them at the pool, and dude, it actually gets me emotional because I never want to be thought I was a bad dude, you know, like we're bigger guys. We got this, but I'm like, oh, it's not me, man. Like, I love people.
Yeah.
And a few people, I didn't even realize, they're like, yeah, that guy encouraged my son at the pool one day, or that guy's awesome. Or, I was like, oh, it still blows my mind that people can give you that second chance.
Yeah.
Why that makes me so emotional, I don't even know. I think it's because I can't stand having to worry about what people think of me. I shouldn't, right? But I do.
Right.
And so, but the positive reaction is what gets me emotional. It wasn't the negative that she did that. It was the positive feedback from the folks who are like, we got your back,
Right.
you know? So
Dude, that's,
it messed me up a bit.
no, dude, you're hitting the nail on the head, because, you know, you just saying that, I turn internally and think about my stuff, and it's like, when I get those moments and those positive affirmations and stuff, it's like, you know, at its core, it's basically like, oh shit, like somebody does love me. You know what I mean? Somebody
They
knows
feel like
care.
they should, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, and it's funny, because anybody that's gonna do that to you, you know what I mean? I guarantee they wouldn't be too keen on them opening their books on the things that they've done in life and stuff like that. Usually that shit comes from a place of hurt or trauma and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's sad to hear it, but I'm glad that there's a silver lining with people kind of, and I think that's the smartest thing you could have done, is putting it out there, because once you're doing, everybody knows where you stand. What can they use against you?
Exactly. You kind of take the power away from them,
Right.
and you kind of go, okay, yeah, that happened, and here's what we're doing now, and here's how we're using it. And if that is enough for you to just say, hey, I don't want to know you
Right.
or your family, then it's okay. But we're not gonna be disrespectful. We're not gonna hurt you. We're not, we're just gonna live our life. And we chose this neighborhood because we love our view, and we're just regular people, and here's our grandson, our kids, and some stuff we're doing now. And so at the end of the day, though, I mean, I think that's part of the consequence of what happened.
Right.
It's like, you got to live with that, man. And for me, that's going to be over my head as of right now for my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, okay, well, then at the same time, it's like I can focus on that. And I tend to focus on negative stuff sometimes.
Right.
Or I can go perspective shift and go, but look at how many things you've been able to do with that target on your back.
Right.
Not because of you, because of God's grace. Like, focus on that,
Yep.
and not the one lady who's running around telling people about it,
Yeah, for sure.
But I need that reminder all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talking about the blessings, that kind of takes us into what you do today with your book.
Yeah.
All right. So how did that even come about?
Yeah. So I had always had, I guess, a dream or a desire to write about my story. And then I had been told several times, similar to you, like, hey, man, you should write a book. You should get a story out. You should whatever. And I would try it. I kept a journal in prison, which was really cool to have. And it really reflected on a lot of that. So it was helpful for the book. But every time I would get tips and stuff on like how to do it, I would hit a stumbling block. I would just go and write a chapter a day, write a page a day, write it. And I would try these things, and I just didn't know how to put it together, right? Like, you need a workout program or a throwing program, I got you. But book, I didn't have a clue, man.
Right.
And so just kind of those divine appointments, man. Grace of God. There's a guy named Stephen Mackey. He's out doing great work, just positive. He's in that space of just out speaking, and I got a hold of him through a friend, and he had written a book, and he gave me some time on the phone, which I was grateful for. And he was the first one, because I had picked a lot of people's brain that had books. I'm like, how'd you do this? How'd you do this? How'd you do this? Mm-hmm. And he was the first one to go, what do you need? And I said, honestly, what I think I need is someone to hold my hand the entire process. And he goes, okay. And kind of filed it away. Great conversation. Great. The next day, he meets a guy named Alex Demchek, who owns Streamline Books. And that's what they do. They take your story. I think you might have met with them. They take your story and they walk you through it. And that's what I needed. And I was like, these are the guys I need. Right. And so they walked me through it. They held me accountable. And I think within a year of meeting them, I had my book completed. And so it was so cool, man. Just I don't know, man. I hate to say never. I'm not an I can't guy. I'm a Coach Puff positive, right? But I'm like, I don't know if I ever could have like done that on my own. So having those guys come in and support me, and Yvette was right by my side, really made it come to fruition. And then once that happened, it was like, okay, worst case, I've got this story for my family. It's out there if it can help some people. And best case, which has happened, is it leads to some more speaking and more encouraging people and more mentoring people and helping people who have been through what I have or something similar.
Right. How crazy is it to get your first copy of your own book and your own life story and look at the cover and see the pages and stuff? What's that feel like?
It's surreal, man. It really is surreal. Yeah, there was one laying on our thing when I walked out, because Yvette was like, hey, can you sign this book for someone? One of my friends, yeah. She set it on the counter, and I walked by, I see it, I'm like, man, that's wild. It's really wild.
Right.
And I mean, none of us do it to like get rich or celebrate. It's just like to have it. It was like, man, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. I love it.
When they told me when the documentary was first getting released, they told me that there was going to be DVD copies, and then I found out they were going to be in Walmart. Yeah. I was like, holy shit. First, I was like, DVDs. Like, who buys DVDs anymore? But I was like, yo, I got a DVD in Walmart right now.
That's so cool.
And like, man. I still, I have one copy of it. I went and bought it. And it's like, holy fuck. Yeah. Like, I have Like it's surreal. So I imagine I know a little bit about what you're talking about.
Totally. Yeah. And I watched yours and I was like, that is so awesome, man. That is so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You were supposed to bring me a book.
Was that really?
I don't know, but still, I could buy one.
No, I want to give you one. Sorry, I just didn't
I'll buy
think
one.
about it, man.
That's right. I wasn't gonna text you and remind you, but it was.
If you would have, I would have done it in a heartbeat. I think I still have that, like, I don't want to be the guy who's like, here's my book.
I want.
You want my book? I'll sign it for you. Yeah.
I want one for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So what's life? So you're traveling around speaking. Like, what does life look for you to?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say it's definitely my main focus and my passion project is my nonprofit baseball program. I have a youth and high school baseball program from 8U through college. And so the majority of my time is spent coaching, private lessons. I have teams. I'm heading to Dallas with an 18U team tomorrow to try to help them get exposure to go to college, and some are getting drafted. And so I just love that, man. Like, I'm just enthralled with that. I never knew coaching would give me what it gives me. Like, and people ask, how do you get back what you had when you had that adrenaline, you're pitching and you got the fans? And I'm like, coaching and pouring into these kids just does it. Like, I just love it. And then, I would say kind of like on the side, I just take speaking engagements as they come. And sometimes they're like, we're busy with it. And sometimes it just kind of like levels off for a little while. And we're just available for it. I say we, because Yvette is usually the one kind of like, hey, I got this email and they want to see if you want to go do this. I'm like, yeah. I was just kind of like, I made a deal with God when I was in prison, dude. It was just like, I don't want this to be in vain. So if anybody asks me to come share, like if it's 10 people at the local FCA, awesome, I'm in. If it's, dude, can you come down to San Antonio and do a podcast? I'm in. Like I just available. So that's led to some pretty cool podcasts, a couple of cool speaking engagements. But I would say my main gig's the baseball, the GPS Legends, and then, speaking and sharing my story. It happens, I don't know, a couple times a month or whatever.
Right.
But it's cool. I enjoy doing it when I get the opportunity.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. So what's the ultimate goal for you with everything you're doing?
Yeah, man. Honestly, it's to help and encourage as many people as I can. It really is. I mean, I know it sounds cliche probably or a little pie in the sky, but it really is. And if that's doing the GPS Legends and coaching as many kids as I can and watching them have the opportunity to go play and achieve their dreams, or pouring a couple nuggets into their life because they want to be good at baseball, but you're able to kind of share some more life stuff.
Right.
That's it. And if getting on podcasts and speaking, if the book keeps rolling and that's something I continue to do, it's all just to encourage people. It really is, man. Like, it's like, okay, if one person is encouraged by my story from today, then it was so worth it for me.
Dude, that's the same way I am. Like I'm just like you. I'm down. If someone wants me to come talk to whoever it is, like I'm down. People listen, I'll come talk and I'll share my experience. And you're right, it just leads to like the next thing, and it's, I'm a horrible self-promoter. We talked before the podcast about like social media. I suck at so much of that stuff, but all I know is I just keep doing me and I keep just trying to help people, and it just keeps leading me in these different positive directions. And so
people grab a hold of it and they're like, hey, we want to promote you. Like, I'm with you, man. I just said it. I'm like, I'm going to bring my book and be like, I bet you want this. Right. And they're like, posting's hard and like, it's just tough, man. But, again, I have my wife in my corner and you have your girl on your team here that are like, well, we don't believe in you. We believe in your story, so we'll put it out there.
Right.
And that's cool. Like, if you want to exalt it, that's awesome. Right. But I'm not very good at it either.
Right. Dude, and I think, I don't know, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I know for me, my ego was so big when I was getting high and getting drunk and stuff like that sober-wise, I'm so polar opposite of that. And so, like, I'll share my story if it's going to help people, but I'm never just going to like lead a conversation. I'll be like, hey, by the way, they got a documentary about me or anything like that. Just because I'm so hyper aware of ego now that I don't ever want to be that person again.
That's very true of me as well. Even, because the ego was a huge problem. Even if it was insincere, like, because at the root of it, man, I still feel like, again, I go back to like, we're both big dudes and we got Taz and people probably look at us like, oh, they're tough. I'm just a softie, man. Like, oh my God, if we got it, that's fine. That's so separate that the ego actually is just, for me, I always feel like it's just low self-esteem. It's actually the opposite. It was just like posturing, like I'm tough and I'm a man because I'm not. Because I feel so insecure inside, and it's gotten better through like, recovery and all that. But at the end of the day, for me, like, all that ego is just kind of false anyway, And 100%. So keep walking like humbly, and then it's like, okay, that's more like it. Like, that's more like it. And for me, being a Christian, it's like, that's Christ-like, man. being Christ-like is not going out and you're better than everybody and you think you're something special,
Yep.
even though you don't think it, but you act like it because you're trying to just cover up how you really feel.
Right.
For me.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure. Just always trying to cover up fear,
Always,
insecurity.
man. Yeah.
Dude, it's funny you just said that about my sister. She's always like, you're just a big teddy bear, and I'm like, shh, like, don't tell anybody. I fuck my rep up.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you guys get to see a different side of me that I've never really like showed people like that. But people see the tattoos or that you're bigger or whatever, and like I find myself, especially in sobriety, like I'm quick to want to open my mouth and talk with the person, because as soon as they hear me talk, then they're like, oh, wait a minute, like he actually has some sense about him. Like at first I just saw neck and hand tattoos and was immediately wanted to guard my purse, but now he's talking with some sense in him, and
yes.
you know what I mean. So that's like my way to take people off guard all the time, because I want to be approachable. I want people to come talk to me, ask me questions so I can share my experience and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I do too, man. I met a guy at the pool in our neighborhood, and there was 2 guys there, and this guy he laughs about this now. The one guy, I saw him sitting there, and I go, hey man, yeah, you look familiar. We kind of like, hell, I think you were at the same gym I do or something. And the other guy was just like, oh, you guys know each other. And then just the cloud coverage, I took my sunglasses off. He goes, oh, you're the guy that smiles at everybody at the gym. I was like, yeah, because I don't want to be the guy who's like, I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I want to like get your guard down with a good smile and know like, hey man, I might look however or whatever you may perceive me as, but I just really want to be a positive influence on you. I really want to be an encourager. Like at the heart, that's who I am, And I actually think that's why I gravitated, why we click so good, is because here you and I are at this CADCA conference speaking on a panel with these doctors and professionals, and we're both probably imposter syndrome. And I'm like, oh, he's me. He's one of me.
Yeah, he's one of my people.
Like, yeah. And so it's like automatically I'm over here, right?
Right.
And so I just think that we can relate in so many ways.
Yeah.
Like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's the he called you the guy that smiles at everybody.
Yeah,
at the gym.
and so now that was like months ago, and now the kid who overheard it, he always says, "Oh, it's so funny that time." And I'm like, dude, but that warms my heart. That's how I want to be known.
Yeah.
I don't want to be known as, oh, you're the guy that lifted whatever, or you're the guy that did this, or it's like, oh, dude, I want to be the guy that smiles at people at the gym,
Right.
And I'm not even done getting work done because I happen to love tattoos. But at the end of the day, it's not to be tough or to be angry. It's just something I enjoy,
Right, for sure. I have a buddy, his name's Lance. He jokes around. He tells me I'm the mayor at the gym.
Yeah.
Just because, like, the first 10, 15 minutes is me, like, saying what's up to everybody that's all, like, part of that crew. And I'm like, bro, I love it. These are, like, my people. Like,
Yes.
and it's, there's a lot of people I don't even know their names, but I know their full stories. I know their background and stuff like that. And that's my sanctuary. I want to know everybody there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same way, man.
Seems like everybody at the gym always has a cool story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're there for more than working out. There's some underlying thing that got them there.
I agree, man. And like you said, I heard you say at your last guest, I was shaking my head. It's like the gym is so good for the mental health, man. Like, I kid you not. If my, I have coaches and partners in my thing, and they're like, hey, can you do a meeting at, 9:30 on whatever? I'm like, yeah. Like, what do you got? I'm like, oh, I got a mental health meeting. Like, you're going to go work out, aren't you? It's like, yep. But I got to schedule it, dude. I have to have it.
Right.
Because if I don't, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
And so I agree, man. That's my sanctuary, and that's my mental health. And I think, to your point, that's most of the folks in there. I'll look around and go, like, they're dealing with something, or they've been through something, and this is their sanctuary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the people you see consistent, day in, day out. You know what I mean? They're not just, I see them once or twice a week. Anybody that wants to get up and be at the gym at 5 a.m., you know what I mean? Like, there's something that's burning a little deeper there to make that go on usually.
No doubt.
How long, when did you get in so involved in with the gym?
Man, I think most of my mom was a triathlete, so nutrition, working out was like really instilled in us when we were young. My dad was an athlete and stuff, so I think I picked up those habits early, like watching my mom get up, like you just said, at 4 a.m. She puts her 2 boys in the back of the car to go swim miles before work. It's like she can't leave us at home, so we're along for the ride. And it's like I watched her work ethic and her consistency, and she's still that way to this day, man. And I think it was always instilled in me. Mm-hmm. And so when I played baseball, a lot of the lifting was frowned upon in terms of like getting big and, being inflexible and stuff. So I always said, like, dude, as soon as I'm done, I'm just going to get as big as I can, do all the lifts they said I can't do. And then it turned out, and when I was done, I went to prison. So now it's like, fitness in there and mental health and just time. And so it just started with push-ups and the weight stacks out there. And then And I just would dream about, man, I can't imagine I can get out and have free weights again and eat right and get creatine and all these things. So I just have always had a passion for that. And, I think some of it is vanity at times, and then some of it is just like, just makes me feel so much better, man. We just went through a season where we were super busy, and Yvette had to be out of the gym for a couple months, and just watching her go through that battle of just like try to support and be, positive, but knowing like you need this, baby, not for your body, not for any of that, but just for this, for your mind. So she just got back in 2 weeks ago. And she's like, it's unbelievable how I feel after 2 weeks. Yeah. Like, isn't it crazy what it just does for you, right? So it's always been there. I think I really ramped it up right after my career because, again, during my career, it's like you can't go throw up heavy. I don't know if you can't, but the science then was you've got to be flexible and you shouldn't bench and you shouldn't get big and all that, even though, the hitters were, like we talked about, they were yoked and they were juicing, but as pitchers, you weren't supposed to do that. So I shied away from it.
You said, about the gym being vanity. I think some of it is that, but I mean, I know I'm not getting any younger. I'm sure you feel the same way, but I take a look at people my age. I'm 40 years old. I take a look at people that, that I've known for a long time. I see people that work out, people that don't work out, and then you start seeing as people get older, 50, 60, 70 years old, and people that work out and don't. It's like, fuck, man, like 70s feels like it's right around the corner. And it's such a staggering difference between somebody who can't even leave their house because they've never did any resistance training or worried about cardio or anything like that. And now they have all these ailments and stuff like that. Or like, I remember when my grandmother was 70, I used to have to jog to even keep up with her. She was just so fit. Like I'm a teenager and I'm like literally having to jog to keep up with her. And she's just boom, 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 boom. Like I'm trying to be that. I don't want to be confined to my house and type 2 diabetic and just unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like,
you're exactly right.
Trying to make up for lost time for all the damage I did to my body before.
That too. Yeah, we ran hard. We put our bodies through a lot, and we're trying to just, I think of it as like, is my temple, man, like that God gave me, and you only have one of them. And so I try my best to be, good with nutrition. I mean, sometimes I still have that personality, man. If you put some snacks in the house, I'll tell you that. I'm like, it's done. Like, it's not couple, it's the bag's gone, period. And so we try to be intentional about what's in the house and what's not.
Right.
But yeah, no, I agree with you, I think. And I just look around, man, and not in a judgmental way, but I mean, you could just sit in the lobby today waiting on you and just look at the health of people, and then it's, not be super fit or super jacked or none of that, but like just healthy, man.
Right.
I just feel like more and more and more that it's just like fast food and no time to work out. And I get it. It's hard to carve out that time when you're busy and you have kids and you're working. It's so important, man. It's just so important. So when I see it sometimes it just makes me sad. I'm like, I don't want to be that way, man. I don't want to, like you said, I don't want to just cash it in and be like, I'm old, whatever. Let's just let it go. I don't want to.
Yeah. When I started getting into the gym and super dedicated, like I made a promise to myself, like this in my life is non-negotiable. This is what I do for me.
Yeah. And,
going with a career field where you're helping people. What's the saying? You can't pour from a cup half full or something like that. Does anybody know the saying?
What is it again?
You can't pour from a cup half full. I'm probably butchering it. Where it's like you gotta fill your own. You gotta fill your own
cup.
cup.
I was gonna say, if your cup's not full, you can't pour anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what.
Pour from an empty cup.
You can't pour from an empty cup, and so like.
Because you can't pour from a cup half full.
You can. I'm butchering it.
You're not gonna get as much as if it was full, but you can pour it. Yeah.
Right.
Some experience.
How about a
But no.
quarter full? Yeah.
Right, but I do that for myself, for other people.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I don't do that, like you're saying, I don't operate the same way. I'm not as sharp. I'm not as witty. I'm not as, I don't give as good advice or like any of these things. I don't make the best decisions, like all that. Like that's just, it's non-negotiable. Like luckily my lovely wife knew that from the moment she met me. She's never asked me not to go. And this is what I do. And I, even with jobs and work, there's been, I had an employer for a little while who he would try to get me to do things early morning, and I'm like, dude, I can't. This is between 5 and 8. That's my workout time. That's when I'm getting my stuff ready. That's when I'm doing this. Like work doesn't start till 9. I can't do that.
I agree.
And it's like you wanted me on your team because you loved who I am. So don't try to change now who I am. Right? You wanted me here for a reason. And so just trying to get people to understand that. But somebody who doesn't have that type of lifestyle, it's hard to explain. Where it's just like, oh, just don't go.
Yeah, and that will happen if you allow it. They'll just, next thing you know, your day is full of everything, and you're like, uh-oh, now what? And for you, fortunately, you have a great lifestyle getting up super early.
Yeah.
I don't really roll like that, man. I give pitching lessons so late at night, and I like to go home and relax.
Right, right.
I'm not waking up at 4 in the morning. So for me, from 8 to 10,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, I'm not on the phone. I won't answer.
Yep.
I mean, if it's an emergency, obviously. But like at the end of the day, like I might text you back in between sets a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's my time, man. And that's it. And they know that now, which is great. And there's there's things like I didn't go this morning because I was going to come down to San Antonio. That's fine. Maybe I get it when I get home. Maybe I don't. But there's times. But if you let it become a habit,
Right.
and then you give yourself permission to miss,
Yeah.
and then before you know it, it's like, dude, now I'm out of it.
Right.
Done. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the same way for drinking for me. If it's okay for me to have one, then in a couple of days it'll be okay for me to have three. It'll be okay for me to have five. Then I'm snorting rails off the back of the toilet. Then who knows what happens after that? But that's how I am. So I do this to make sure that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? I keep my intentions and my day to day as healthy and my mind on that.
I'll even go so far as to say that's my addiction.
Yeah.
I traded addictions.
Right.
My mom works in that space, and she'll just be like, "Yeah, you just traded addictions." And sometimes she's even like, "I'll say, I'll go on a vacation and I don't work out." She's like, "Did you work out?" And I'm like, "No." She goes, "That's so good." I'm like, "Is it?"
Right.
She's like, "Well, it's good that you let yourself do that, you know." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess."
Right.
But I don't want to get too far off.
Yeah. In the recovery world, there is people who have said that to me about running or the gym or whatever. You're trading one addiction for another, and I was like, I prefer the term. I harnessed and redirected a lot of energy I used to put in negative into something positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this has put me on the best people I know. It's structured my life. It's given me discipline. I eat right. I sleep right. I drink water. Like, we can call it an addiction, but it's transformed my life for the positive in every form and facet.
So that's a good addiction. And I'll take
for
if it's that over what we were doing.
Yeah,
I'm good. You can call it what you want, but I'm doing it. Yeah.
absolutely. So I have some fun questions for you.
Fun for who?
Fun for us both. Fun for us both.
Okay, all right.
Nothing crazy, but I like doing this because you can come on here and tell your story, but they know your story, but they don't really know who you are. Sure. So this is just some candid questions to help them get to know you a little better. So with you being a major league pitcher, is there who are you most proud to have pitched against? And then is there a batter you wish you could have pitched against that you never of any era?
Man, that's pretty good right there. That is fun.
You already talked about Sosa, Bonds.
Yeah, face both of those guys, which is cool. Those are guys you want to face. I usually talk about the home runs I gave up because, again, humility, self-deprecating humor. But the guy I was most proud to strike out was probably David Ortiz. So I got him in Fenway, and it was like a fastball in looking. It was one of those, you executed your pitch. I was like, yeah, that felt good.
Right.
But again, dude, being a fan, the guy who owned me the most was Chipper Jones.
Really?
Nightmares about that dude. He just banged everything off the wall. Whatever I threw. And it's not like a huge, I wouldn't play forever in the big leagues, but it's like, say it was 6 at-bats.
Yeah.
It's 6 for 6 with
Shit.
serious contact. Not like weak sauce hits. Like, dude, owned me.
Right.
Unbelievable.
People forget about Chipper.
Chipper
Jones. Chipper was a beast.
Man. And then, but you know what? Pujols, I think I honestly faced most of the guys that I grew up watching, and not most, but a lot of that was surreal moments I like to share with people. Like the first time I faced Bonds, we intentionally walked him because that's what everyone did at that time. Mm-hmm. And then the next guy hit a fielder's choice, so Bonds is on second base, and that was actually my first outing in Houston, my first home outing. And I'm checking my runner.
Were they letting him run bases?
Oh, he wasn't doing anything really, but he was running. Yeah, he was just on the base paths, and he's getting his lead off second, and I'm checking him, and I'm trying to face this guy, and I'm literally in my mind going, check it out, man, that's Barry Bonds. Like, he's right there. I could turn around and try to pick him off or whatever. Like, he's right there. Right. And I just like, clear your mind, dude. What are you doing? You can't face this guy and be worried about Bonds. But I went through that stuff. Like, I probably wouldn't admit it so much at the time, but looking back, because you have to be like, no, I'm not scared of anything. I'm going to get it. And it's like, yeah, that stuff affected me, man. So, that was one of those things. And then, I don't know, man. I think it would have been kind of cool to face Dave Winfield. He was one of my favorite players. Not cool in the sense that he's just this huge, imposing figure in the box and probably could do damage, but just like, that was a challenge I would have wanted to take.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there something, so like you got Bonds on second, and is there unwritten rules in baseball where it's like you don't try to pick off Barry Bonds? Like if you would have done that, everyone looked at you like, bro, come on.
No, not in terms of picking off. I mean, it would probably be lame because he's not stealing third. He's just out there kind of doing his thing. But like, not in terms of that. There's no unwritten rules on that. It's like, fair game. If he's getting off too much and we see something, it would be okay to pick him off. But more than anything, it's just focusing on your self-talk to ignore the fact that you're consumed with this dude out here when you're trying to face whoever that was, who's a big league hitter and trying to crush you too, you know?
Right.
So just controlling your self-talk and your breathing and stuff and trying to forget about all that was important.
Right.
Yeah.
Good shit. Who's your favorite pitcher of all time?
Oh man, good one. Really good one. I grew up a Dodger fan. So my dad was born in LA. We grew up in Southern California, and I love Fernando Valenzuela, man.
Okay.
I loved him, and I ended up working into like really liking Oral Hershiser a lot. So at that time, it was just whatever Dodger was really good.
Right.
And those two, through most of my childhood, were the dudes for the Dodgers. So I grew up loving those guys. Damn. Yeah.
Chipper Jones was your kryptonite?
100%. Like absolutely owned me. I've had a chance to tell him a couple times, and like it's just like, dude, I don't know what it was. Like whatever I tried,
He just had your number.
he just had it. It wasn't like I was so good that I should have been, but it was just like certain guys, you get them, they get you, you get them. Just how it happens, Not it. He always got me, man.
Were you ever scared for a batter coming up?
That's a great question, man. And I'm starting to be more transparent to help other guys that I know what they go through. I pitched different when I was in the big leagues than when I was in AAA. And I might be facing the same hitter. Like I just faced this guy in New Orleans or wherever I was in AAA at the time. Now we're on a big league stage and I'm trying to be too fine. I'm trying to make the perfect pitch instead of just attacking. So just in general, I feel like I pitched a little scared in the big leagues, man. And I just recently started admitting that because it's like, can't admit that. Like, yeah. But I really think if I would have allowed myself to just block all that out better and just attacked with my best, whatever it is, I could have probably had a little more success.
Right.
I actually have admitted recently too that the first time I got sent back to AAA, it was like, oh, now I can relax. I know my guys. And I know that's a tough mentality to have. You shouldn't, but I think more guys than will admit it do. Because you're up there and there's all that pressure.
Yeah, the lights aren't so bright, and you go back where you can just kind of be comfortable and just play baseball.
Like, this is where you want to be, of course, but I'll never forget, and it was a scary feeling where I'm like, oh, man, I kind of feel like I can relax a little bit here and just be myself again,
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I think overall, it wasn't like one particular hitter where I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to face that guy. Because I actually got excited to face the big guys, because who doesn't, right? You're like, dude, these are the guys you're going to tell your grandkids about. Whether they hit a home run or you get them out, it's like, that's the fun stuff. But just in general, the big league atmosphere probably got me more than it should have. I think because I was just such a big fan, man. Like, I love baseball.
Right.
There's dudes that I would have roommates that we'd go play, and we'd go back to the hotel, and I'd turn on a game, and I'm like, dude, you going to watch baseball? We just did this all day. What do you mean? This is all I want to watch. I love it.
This is what we
It
do.
almost would have been better at times to have that mentality. Just go home and watch something different. Like, be away from it,
Right. Was there anybody that was, who looked the scariest coming up to the plate?
Dude, I just remembered this guy because I saw something on Twitter about him, and it was Mo Vaughn. You remember that guy?
Yeah.
Big old dude, lefty.
Brewers?
He might have, I think you're thinking of Prince Fielder, but they look similar. Mo Vaughn was
I remember
a big
Red
Boston
Sox.
Red Sox guy.
Red Sox.
Yeah, so he would, actually when I faced him, he was with the Mets. And I'll never forget, he was so big and he crowded the plate. And like, I guess the book on him was you throw him in because he crowded the plate. But I will literally never forget, they called fastball in and my catcher set up like under his hands. And I couldn't even see the catcher. I was like, dude, he just disappeared behind this monster of a man in the box. Again, one of those moments where you're just like, okay, you got to execute your pitch. You need to quit thinking about how big this dude is.
Right.
And then on a funny note, I faced Randy Johnson. He was hitting.
Oh, shit.
And he couldn't hit. But it was just the fact that he's standing in there at like 6'11".
Right.
I'm like, it was weird. It was like, this is weird to face Randy Johnson on that end,
Right.
Yeah, but Mo Vaughn was an intimidating dude.
Did you ever face Griffey or Frank Thomas?
Face Griffey.
Did you really?
Yeah, face Griffey when he was with Cincinnati, actually.
Okay.
Towards the end, I faced him in San Diego. I got him out, but he hit it. I think he hit it pretty good, like a fly ball to the right or something. It was a pretty big situation. I remember I got him on a changeup. I don't remember facing the big hurt Thomas, but I bet he was imposing in there.
Yeah.
I would remember, so I must not have faced him.
Right. Griffey, I was a Pirates fan growing up.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
surprised the Pirates even still have a team in Pittsburgh right now.
Right?
Griffey was hands down always my favorite player. He was the reason I wore number 24
From Fuller High School, right?
for every.
In Ohio?
Griffey is?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
He's from Ohio, man.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But Griffey to me, Griffey is like Steph Curry is for basketball,
Yeah.
or if he was for me, just like the prettiest, most effortless swing,
Absolutely.
just pure, the way I see Steph Curry shoot threes and
Yeah.
stuff like that, it's just so perfect and
Oh,
so
yeah.
beautiful.
Agreed.
That was how I looked at Griffey swinging a bat, and that was
Absolutely.
my guy.
Oh yeah, no, he's a stud, man. That's one of the prettiest swings in baseball history,
Right.
no doubt.
I'm glad to hear that.
I agree, man.
All right, what these ones are more just kind of quick,
Uh-huh.
right? What's your fight song? So you're walking out to the mound, lights go out. What song? When the lights come back on, what song are they playing?
So, answering that question now, just like being in the gym, I really like the song. I believe I hate this title, but it's called "Demons" by Imagine Dragons.
Okay.
I just relate to the lyrics. It just gets me going. But I did have walkout songs when I pitched. So I came out in Houston. I came out to "Here Comes the Boom" by POD at one point. Big Metallica guy, so like almost anything Metallica gets me pretty amped.
Right.
But yeah, I gotta say these days, man, if I really gotta hit that set, I got my amped up playlist. I'm like, going to Demons.
There you go.
Dragons, yeah.
Good shit. I just saw an entrance to, I want to say a Mets pitcher or somebody, and they did
Trumpet? No.
they started off with the Undertaker theme, like the lights went out and they did a doll
Okay.
like that, and then it went into some Spanish music eventually. But I was like, ooh.
Oh,
Coming
so I
out-
wonder if
Coming out to the Undertaker theme, walking
That's
out on the
sick.
ball field is
there's a guy named Edwin Diaz, who's Mets closer last year. You'll have to look it up. He came out to, I want to say it's called Timmy Trumpet or something. And it was like,
I saw that too.
totally butchered that. But anyway, that is awesome. Like, that was so offbeat because usually those closers come out to the hardcore. And it's cool.
Right.
That was a cool scene, man. The whole crowd would he ended up getting hurt, but the whole crowd would get into it. But I did get to sit in on like Trevor Hoffman coming out to, when I was with the Padres, coming out to Hell's Bells and like just the whole thing, the stadium. Like when closers were going, that was cool to watch, man.
Right.
Just being a part of that, just watching that was neat.
It's wild. All right, so Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, shockingly.
All right, I'm gonna check it out. So first word that comes to mind: family.
Everything.
Everything good. The gym.
Sanctuary, like we said earlier.
Good shit. What is your favorite show?
Twofold.
Okay.
Ridiculousness.
Really? Okay.
MTV, dude, I wear it out. So like they play it about 24 hours a day,
Yeah, I was
so
gonna
it's not
say.
hard to find. But when they don't, all right, we DVR them, and it's just like laughter is so big for me, man.
Yeah.
Like in this mental health realm, and then but if we're going old school, it's King of Queens, and they still replay that too. I was watching it last night.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it.
Those are like your comfort shows.
Those two. Yeah.
You got any-
when I wind down at night.
You got any newer ones that have come out recently that you were hooked on?
Newer TV shows,
Yeah.
man. I
And
think
you
we
just stick with those.
I stick with those, and like
What is he? He's bound it down.
oh,
Did you
that's
see Eastbound and
I
Down?
saw a little bit of that. Yeah. One time some guy's like, "This is about your life." I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." Not the greatest compliment, but it's funny, dude. Yeah, no, that's old Powers, right? Yeah, no, that's a good show, man. I like that. And then the only time we ever like Netflix binged a show, we're not big bingers, is I did get into the Ozark a little bit. Like not a little bit. We got into that. And then we tried to find other ones after that, and I just never. And also for me, when I'm watching TV, I'm doing other things. I want background noise. I want some laughs. So if like Yvette wants to watch a movie or like something you got to pay attention to, it's really hard for me. It starts and I'm like, crap, I can't. I'm sorry, I'm lost. So I'm always just all over the place. So those shows, you can watch those all day long and just catch laughs and do other things, you know?
Yeah. Have you ever seen the outtake from Eastbound and Down when they're in the car dealership and they're like facing off? That's hilarious.
Just the other day I watched
With
something.
Will Ferrell. It's like let him
Ferrell, yeah.
let him watch.
Let the boy watch.
Let the boy watch. That's what
Ferrell is a gem.
dude. So
Anything he does, I'm in.
Golden.
good. So good. They don't make movies like that anymore.
No.
First word that comes to mind: United States of America.
I was prepared for this and I still can't get it because I heard it earlier. Man. Do I have to use one word?
Whatever you want.
Okay, because here's what I want to say. I truly think of myself as a patriot and I love the United States of America. 100%. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. But I just feel like right now, I almost want to say confused. Like that's the word that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
Or struggling,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So yeah, I don't know how to elaborate on that, but my first thought is pride. 100% I'm proud. I'm not anyone of those, oh, you know, I like, dude, I'm proud. Like when I hear it, I'm like, well, you can go. Like there's other places, but then I want to see it, you know, I want to see it improve or get back to more stable, maybe is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
It doesn't feel real stable.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just media and I'm just kind of like, because I'm not really a political guy. I don't follow it closely, but just from the outside looking in, I'm like, everything just seems so chaotic.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, for me, you just hit the nail on the head with the media part, because like this out here, I'm proud of. Yeah. Everything I see on this, I'm not proud of.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
And it's like, what's real? Because what I see on this every day, I don't see out here every day. You know what I mean? Like this will have me believe all these things. I'm not saying the world's perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but on a day-to-day basis, I interact with people from all different walks of life, all different ethnic backgrounds, different religions, stuff like that. And I see overwhelming amounts of love and caring and all that stuff. I don't see all this bullshit that you see on the media stuff. The unfortunate part is, and like I guess it's my time in the military, is knowing the rest of the world only sees this and they don't know about this. And so it's like, damn, how are we? I guess we can sit here and be like, well, I don't care what people think of us or whatever, but I do. Like how
are we perceived?
I have pride in wearing the uniform and the flag and stuff like that. And then when these other countries or leaders are making comments about how things are looking and stuff like that, it's like, God damn, this is not what I'm not proud of that right there.
Agree. Yeah, agreed. But ultimately, man, if I could go back and answer the question in one word, it is pride. It is proud.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is a good question because you're not a big TV guy, like, but favorite movie ever?
No, it's good. So favorite movie ever, Good Will Hunting.
Okay.
Favorite like funny, if I just want to get some laughs, anything Will Ferrell, but old school, Anchorman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude.
We just watched that.
And honestly, just like purest from start to finish comedy, Dumb and Dumber, the first one, is so freaking funny, dude. Like you can go rewatch it and just go, how did they nail it? Like there's no lull. It's just like hilarious all the way through. Right. So I'm really into that too.
When we're not podcasting, Jason and I get into a lot of talks about movies and shows and stuff like that, and they just don't make them. They don't make them like they used to. There's so many movies of me growing up that are like I could watch 1,000 times.
100%, yeah.
And there's rarely a movie nowadays that I watch where I ever find myself even wanting to watch it again. Not that it was bad. Yeah. It just doesn't have that same replay value.
Yeah.
But Dumb and Dumber is definitely one that could just be on repeat.
Yeah.
First word that comes to mind, baseball.
The only thing I'm having trouble with is one word, because what comes to mind is the greatest game in the world.
Okay.
So I'll just say greatest.
I like, if you don't want to answer it in one word, no problem. Just first thing that comes to mind. What would you say is your guilty pleasure as far as like treat yourself, snack, dessert?
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's snacks, but it's ice cream. Like a Dairy Queen Blizzard, bro. It's been a while.
Really?
It's been a while. Like that Blizzard.
Yeah.
Kryptonite. But it's been a long time. Because same thing, dude. If I go grab one on the way home, tomorrow I'll be like, man, that was good. I want another one. I want another one. Yeah.
Which Blizzard are you getting?
I'm a big Reese's peanut butter cup guy.
Really?
Double Reese's, add whipped cream.
Yeah, you got to go double on whatever they're putting in there.
And then when you pay for it, though, and you get in there, you're like, did they give me extra? Like, did they
There's barely any in it.
Yeah. Load it up out there.
Have you ever had any of the H-E-B Creamy Creations?
I don't think so. I probably shouldn't know about them.
Yeah, probably. All right. Well,
you're triggering me, bro.
It's an ice cream at H-E-B you definitely don't want to try if you like
never.
thick chunks of stuff in your ice cream, so don't try that.
Don't try that. It sounds horrible.
Speaking.
First word goes on?
Yeah.
Speaking?
Yeah. Like when you're up talking in front of a lot of people using your story.
Encouragement.
Love it. Last but definitely not least, God.
So I said everything for family. I don't know if you can use the same word, but literally everything. Like, I want to expound a little bit.
Please.
Like, just literally nothing without it. Like, nothing. And I heard the phrase, you never know God's all you need until he's all you had, all you have. I've heard that before. And I didn't really understand it until I got in that situation. Mm-hmm. And I hit the prison system on lockdown. Can't leave the bunk for 9 days. No AC. It's 150 in the dorm. And all I had was my Bible. That was it. And I was like, dude, I know what that means now. That's all I need. It's literally all I need. And I want to circle back to that God-shaped hole. When I got locked up, I gave my life to Christ in 98. But when I got locked up in '09 was the first time I surrendered and truly said, it's all yours. Like, this is where I got myself. It's all yours. And that's when that God-shaped hole was filled. And bro, when I tell you, like, they thought I needed to be in the psych ward while I was in prison. I was so happy. I wasn't happy to be in prison. I missed my family. I hated all the stuff I was seeing, but there was a joy and a peace that you couldn't take away from me, even in there.
Right.
So now you got that and you get out and like, it's like, you can't take that from me. Like, whatever situation you put me in, I have peace and joy, and it's 100% God for me.
Right. Did you get baptized when you were in prison?
I didn't, because I already had when I was younger, but I saw some folks do it. Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
I got re-baptized, I guess, in prison.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I didn't, man. I was baptized at my church back home when I was first saved, and so but it's never a bad thing to recommit, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was symbolic for me, you know what I mean? Feeling like it was washing away everything, and accepting that new thing and devoting your life to it and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So this is called the I Am Redemption podcast.
Yeah.
One of the things I like doing towards the end is, telling your story is a great way for people to know who you are, but they don't actually get to know you as the person, right? And so that I'd asked those questions before, but if you would, and if you could just sum it up in a couple words, I'd ask you if you'd look into the camera and let them know who Brandon Puffer is.
All right. So Brandon Puffer, quite simply, is just a sinner saved by grace, just a man that is broken and without God has nothing in his life. So I'm just going to simplify, just sinner saved by grace, man.
Love it. Brother, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to come down here. It's always a pleasure when I talk to you. Absolutely. I know we need to get into the gym sooner rather than later.
Yes.
We'll get to it. And dude, just thank you for coming, being vulnerable, and sharing your experience and hope. I already know the people that are lucky enough to watch this. It's definitely going to help some people.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, bro.
I hope someone's encouraged. I thank you for having me.
Of course. Is there anything you want to plug at the end, or social media, website, any book, anything like that? Where can they get it?
The book, yeah. So the book is it's called From the Bullpen to the State Pen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's available on Amazon. So if people want to go check it out, that's awesome. But yeah, anything else is just coachpuffpositive.com.
Okay.
That's where my Twitter, my Instagram, all that is. But no, man, I'm like you. It's no shameless plugs. Just like, let's get in here and encourage people, and the rest takes care of itself.
All right.
But I also want to say I love you, bro, and I appreciate everything you're doing.
I love you too, dude. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Love you, man.